Hello, my lovely Capricorns, and a very warm welcome to your annual forecast 2024 to 2025. My goodness, is this going to be a very interesting year for you, my lovely Capricorns. One of the biggest shifts we've got this year is that Pluto will be moving out of your sign and moving into the next sign, Aquarius. Now that's going to be a big deal for you because Pluto's been in your sign since 2008. And when it finally moves out of your first house, which it begins to do in January, and it will only briefly go back into your sign between, I'll tell you the dates, September the 2nd and November the 21st. Very brief, it's just a little skip at the very end of your sign, and then it will stay in the next sign for 20 years. So this is a very significant shift for Capricorns. Let me give you just the other highlights of an overview, and then I'll come back to your individual forecast. But the shift now, as we moved into Pluto in Aquarius time, is that things are going to speed up greatly. The outer planets are gradually, over the next couple of years, moving into the fire and air signs. They've been predominantly in the earth and water signs. So we're going to see the speeding up of progress, of technology, of transportation, of anything to do with healing. Science is going to move more quickly, and we're going to gradually see potentially a much more equitable type of world, where especially technology with its advances, just as most people now own a mobile phone, we're going to have other devices and other things that are in fact going to make our lives better and easier, that are going to be available to everybody at a relatively inexpensive cost. So it's just, we're going to have to increase the frequency of our vibration, our health, our minds. Everything really has to gather pace. And at the same time, it's going to be vital to stay grounded and centered. And because you're an earth sign, you can lead the way with this. You can help others by learning yourself to be able to stay calm when everything around you is changing so rapidly. So that's the kind of overall heads up. There's a separate video about 2024 more generally if you'd like to watch that. But back to you. This Pluto now on January the 21st goes into your second house. Yes, a brief little sojourn for a few weeks later in the year into Capricorn, but nothing to really bother about. Pluto for almost 20 years in the second house. What does it mean? The second house is money. Now, Pluto tends to do things in really big and serious ways. So if you're really ready to get your finances sorted, this Pluto can really help you. You may have to dig deep and dig out old behavior patterns that maybe you brought into this lifetime or that you learned from others that were not healthy. Things like I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, or I'll never make a lot of money, or whatever it is, negative patterns that you may have. If you've got positive ones, great, this doesn't apply. But if there are negative ones, it's time to dig them out and fling them out. It will also give you an opportunity to create great wealth. That's the other side of Pluto. Now, if you've got into a lot of debt and you're in trouble, you may have to face that. And the Pluto may bring it to a head for you to face a big lesson and to transform and transmute this life area, because that's what Pluto brings for you, an opportunity of great transformation. And as I said, it can bring you opportunities to make vast amounts of wealth, potentially wealth that can be valuable not only to you personally, because how much can you spend, but also in helping others in profound and deep ways. The other thing that this Pluto in Aquarius in your second house is going to do for you lovely Capricorns, it's going to have you digging out your gifts and your talents, dusting them off, really taking a can-do attitude and really looking at what is inside me that I have yet to develop, that I have yet to bring into the light of day. It's really important to do it, not to let things sit. It's so easy to watch another film, to watch another video, to go and have a chat with someone on the phone. It's so easy to keep being distracted. This Pluto will keep you focused time and again. What else do you want to develop inside of you? What have you come in with this lifetime that you've not yet followed through with? What do you enjoy that you're not doing? All these questions will bubble up, and hopefully they will bring out of you some gifts that you'll then share with others, and you will feel so good about doing it. But you're going to have to dig, because Pluto generally involves going deep, uncovering layers, layer after layer after layer. It can be a wonderful journey. The eclipses come in March and April. We have a lunar eclipse in your 10th house on March 25th, and on April the 8th, a solar eclipse in the 4th house. And remember that eclipse energies last for a good 6 months or so. So we've got the 4th and 10th houses, Capricorns, activated here. So we're looking at the balance between your home life and your world life, your life out there, your career, your work, your interactions with the world. Balancing these energies. This suggests that something may come to culmination or fruition connected with career, or maybe a change in your work direction. A fundamental shift is needed, or maybe just a shift of perspective is needed in order to continue doing what you're doing. But chances are there are going to be changes. Here, this 4th house energy also indicates changes around the home, your environment, your family. Most important is going to be finding the equilibrium between being in and doing homey type of things and being out and doing work and service types of things. This is the energy that's being activated here. The next set of eclipses comes in September, October time. So we then get a lunar eclipse happening in your 3rd on September 18th. On October the 2nd, again this 10th house activated. And now the 10th house, a lunar eclipse towards the beginning of the year and later in the year, a solar eclipse. The 10th house has not only to do with career and work, and the eclipse, especially the second one, indicates new beginnings and possibilities. It also has to do with your interactions, your daily interactions with people, and elevating them to something higher, to something more meaningful, to something kind, to something thoughtful. It's taking your energy and giving it out in as positive a way as you can. And these are just going to give you reminders, and also sending out the things that you love, sharing them with more people. And how much more easy that is to do now than it used to be in the old days. Yes, it was almost impossible to reach lots of people. Now it's much, much easier. So whether you take your pen or your keyboard or your microphone or all of them, share, keep sharing. The other big news is that Jupiter changes sign, usually always once a year, and it's going to go into your 6th house on May 25th. We'll stay there until June 9th of 2025, so just over a year. Jupiter in the 6th house. Jupiter magnifies, expands, grows. It brings wisdom. It brings abundance, prosperity, wealth, all kinds of goodies usually. And in your 6th house, this is a growth in terms of maybe learning about your health, your well-being. You might be studying health. You might be teaching it, you might be learning. You might be expanding your knowledge of your own body and how to get it into its highest peak vitality. You may be changing some habit patterns connected to your health. This also expands your work in some way, the reach of your work. It also expands you into being of more service to others, and that you tend to do through your work. And if your work is your joy, which thankfully this is for me, and I hope you can feel it, then you touch people's lives automatically because you're sharing that joy, and people are magnetized by the frequency of joy. And Jupiter brings joy wherever he touches. It's inevitable. It is also an expansion of your daily habits. If you've got too narrow and a little too rigid in what you're doing, this Jupiter may expand you to new horizons and different ways of doing things, and maybe even more efficient ways of doing things that take less time, working smarter rather than harder. It can also bring good fortune in your work area, the right people, the right places, the right cooperation. It can also bring synchronicities there. Now, all the Mercury retrogrades this year are in fire signs. So this suggests that by going inwards, by taking time out, by being alone, by listening to your inner voice, you can connect with the divine mind. And you can connect with all the knowledge there is, rather than this little teeny mind, I should have, I could have, and she said, and he's, all that stuff, the regurgitation of the same thoughts. You're going to come up with some magical innovations, new ideas, new possibilities. That's what you can tune into with these Mercury retrogrades. The retrogrades happen in April, in August, in November, December time. And for you, they're going to be happening in the 4th, the 8th, and the 12th houses. So this is going to involve for you, when the Mercury retrogrades happen, is a lot of reflection, inner reflection, and tuning into your intuitive voice. That inner voice that is always there with you and often knocking at your door and saying, hello, when you listen. And you can tune into it more effectively. The psychic messages you get, the information that you get. You're going to have an opportunity to be able to maybe reflect on something, maybe a good idea that you had, and it's like, I've now got the solution. I know how to put it into practice. So you may get a lot of answers to questions that have been floating around, and a lot of inspiration with those fire energies coming to you. At the end of the year, as I mentioned, I didn't mention it yet, but I'm saying it now. Mercury retrograde drives you nuts. December the 6th, we'll have Mars going retrograde in your 8th house until February of 2025. So this suggests that things will slow down towards the end of the year, and you get an opportunity to integrate all the insights that you had, all the excitement, all the bubbling over of possibilities, opportunities, new people, new thoughts. You have a chance to be able to let things filter through you. So this potentially is a powerful time for you. I think you may get a sense of relief as the Plutonic energy leaves your sign, and I think you're going to find a whole new you begins to emerge. Let us see what your Pleiadian oracle card deck is for this coming year, my lovely Capricorns. And here it is. Breath of life. When you tune into your breathing, you can do it at any time of the day. you slow down automatically. There's a slowing, there's a calming. I only have to just mention, tune into your breathing. You're probably getting a sense of, I can relax. And that's going to be needed because, as I said, it's going to be fast and furious, exciting, inspiring, stimulating, but you don't want to get overstimulated. And remembering that breath of life and that card hopefully will help you to stay inside yourself and not be thrown out of balance. I'd love to know whether these videos are helpful to you. They're an enormous amount of joyful work, but please do comment and let me know whether they are valuable in your life and if there's anything you'd like me to change. Constructive criticism is always helpful, and I do read all your comments. So thank you for listening. Much love. Bye for now.